The gold medal still felt heavy around my neck as I stood on the empty stage, staring at rows of vacant seats where my family should have been. National Tech Innovator of the Year, the highest honor in software development. The ceremony had ended an hour ago, but I couldn't bring myself to leave. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Sorry we couldn't make it, honey. Your sister's wedding planning is just so hectic. But we need to discuss your contribution. Check your email." I'm Marcus, 35, and this is how I discovered my family had been using my success to fund their extravagance, and how I made sure their perfect destination wedding became a lesson in consequences. The email landed in my inbox with a cheerful subject line, "Family Wedding Expenses." Inside was a professionally formatted PDF listing the costs for my sister Emma's destination wedding in the Maldives. Total, $46,000. My share of the expenses. The irony wasn't lost on me. They couldn't spare 3 hours to watch me receive the most prestigious award in my field, but they expected me to bankroll Emma's fairy tale wedding without question. I opened my laptop, the same one I'd used to create ResortBook, the booking system now used by luxury hotels worldwide. The system that had just won me this award. The system that, coincidentally, was being used for Emma's wedding. My success hadn't come easily. While Emma spent her 20s finding herself on our parents' dime, I worked 80-hour weeks, slept on office floors, ate ramen, and coded until my eyes burned. When I finally sold my first software package, Mom's only response was, "That's nice, dear." Now, about Emma's student loans. Emma had always been the golden child. Her dreams were valid, her pursuits worthy of support. My work? Just playing with computers. Even when ResortBook took off, when major hotels started buying licenses, when the money started flowing, they still saw me as nothing more than a convenient source of funding. I scrolled through the itemized list. $12,000 for flowers, $8,000 for the dress, $15,000 for the venue. The rest was split between catering, entertainment, and various necessities, all perfectly organized in Emma's meticulous spreadsheet style. Another text from Mom. "Did you get the email? Emma's worried about the deposit deadlines." I logged into the ResortBook admin panel. Being the system's creator had its privileges. Within seconds, I accessed Emma's entire wedding booking, made under my family's name, relying on my money to make it a reality. The ceremony was scheduled for next month. 300 guests, 5 days of celebrations, every luxury upgrade imaginable. They'd even booked the presidential suite for Emma and her fiancé, of course. My assigned room, a standard garden view. My phone rang. Emma's face flashed on the screen. "Marcus," her voice dripped with practiced sweetness. "Did you see the email? We really need to finalize everything this week." "I was getting an award today," I said quietly. "National Tech Innovator of the Year." "Oh right, sorry, we've been so busy with the wedding. But you understand, right? This is my special day." Special day. Like every day of her life hadn't already been special. Like she hadn't been the center of our family's universe since birth. The invoice, I said, my voice steady. $46,000. "Well, you're doing so well with your computer thing. And you know how important this is to me, to all of us." My computer thing. The software that revolutionized hotel bookings worldwide. The very system they were using to plan this wedding. "I'll think about it," I said and hung up. My phone immediately buzzed with texts. "Mom, don't be difficult, Marcus. Your sister needs this." "Dad, you know money's tight for us. Step up and help." "Emma, you're not going to ruin this for me, are you?" I stared at my award, its golden surface reflecting the stage lights. 10 years of work, sacrifice, and innovation. And they couldn't spare 3 hours to watch me receive it. I turned back to my laptop. The ResortBook interface glowed softly in the dim auditorium. Every booking, every detail of Emma's perfect wedding displayed before me. With a few clicks, I called. No, not yet. First, I needed to understand exactly what they'd done. I dug deeper into the booking records. What I found made my blood boil. They hadn't just planned a wedding. They planned a luxury vacation for the entire extended family. Extra rooms booked under my name. Spa treatments, excursions, special meals, all linked to my ResortBook profile. They'd assumed I would pay. Just like I always did. Just like I pay for Emma's college, her failed startups, her soul-searching trips around the world. My phone buzzed again. A group message this time. "Emma, Getting worried about the deposits, bro. Need you to transfer the money today. Mom, Marcus, don't ignore your sister. Dad, we raised you better than this. Raised me better. I laughed aloud, the sound echoing in the empty auditorium. They hadn't raised me at all. They'd raised Emma, invested in Emma, supported Emma. I was just the ATM who happened to share their DNA. I opened a new window, my banking app. There sat the latest deposit from Resort Book's success. More money than my parents had ever earned. Money I'd made while they dismissed my work as a hobby. Another text from Emma. Stop being difficult. It's just money. You have plenty. Just money. Like the years of work meant nothing. Like the nights of coding, the missed holidays, the burnout and loneliness were worthless. I looked at my award again. The ceremony they didn't attend because they were too busy planning how to spend my money. My fingers flew across the keyboard, accessing Resort Book's core systems. As the creator, I had privileges no regular user could access. I could see everything and change everything. The booking confirmation emails were queued, ready to go out to all 300 guests. Emma had written them herself, taking credit for the luxurious arrangements, painting herself as the generous host. With a few keystrokes, I modified the messages, added a little truth to her fiction. Dear valued guest, your booking for the Wilson destination wedding has been confirmed. This event is being entirely funded by Marcus Wilson, creator of Resort Book, who was not consulted about these arrangements. Today, while these bookings were being made, Marcus was receiving the National Tech Innovator of the Year award. His family did not attend. Please note that all bookings are subject to final payment confirmation. My finger hovered over the send button. Years of conditioning, the expectation to stay quiet, to be responsible, made me hesitate. Then my phone buzzed one more time. Mom, Marcus, stop being selfish. Family comes first. I clicked send. Within minutes, my phone exploded with notifications. The messages had gone out to all 300 guests, extended family, friends, colleagues, even Emma's future in-laws. Everyone now knew who had been expected to fund the wedding and how he'd been treated. Emma called first, screaming, "What have you done? You're ruining everything." I let it go to voicemail. Mom was next. "Marcus, how could you embarrass your sister like this? Fix it immediately." Dad's message was shorter. "You'll regret this, son." But I wasn't done. I returned to the Resort Book system that had made me successful enough to be treated like a personal bank. With a few more keystrokes, I began canceling bookings. The presidential suite for Emma, the spa treatments for Mom, the golf packages for Dad, the extra rooms for cousins and friends. One by one, they disappeared from the system. I ignored the buzzing phone and composed one final message to all guests. Due to non-payment and unauthorized use of Resort Book systems, all bookings for the Wilson destination wedding have been canceled. No further reservations will be accepted. Regards, Marcus Wilson. Creator, Resort Book. National Tech Innovator of the Year, 2025. I hit send, then shut down my laptop. In the quiet of the empty auditorium, I finally stood, the award still heavy around my neck. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Emma. "You've ruined my life. I'll never forgive you." I typed back, "Congratulations. Now you know how it feels to be ignored and undervalued." Then I walked out of the auditorium, leaving behind the empty seats where my family should have been. Tomorrow would bring chaos, accusations, and manipulations. But tonight, I had my award, my success, and the satisfaction of finally standing up for myself. The stage lights dimmed behind me, but I didn't look back. Sometimes, the best family moments are the ones where you finally say enough. And I had finally, irrevocably, had enough. The fallout was nuclear. By morning, my inbox had exploded with messages from wedding guests, family members, and even Emma's future in-laws. The carefully constructed image of my sister's self-made success was crumbling, and she was desperate to control the damage. "How dare you expose us like this?" Emma's voice screeched through my voicemail. "Do you know what Trevor's parents are saying? They think we're gold diggers." Trevor was Emma's fiancé, heir to a real estate empire. She'd spent months convincing his family she was his equal, a successful entrepreneur in her own right. Now they knew the truth. Her glamorous lifestyle was funded entirely by her brother's success. I sat in my home office, watching the resort book dashboard light up with cancellations. Guest after guest withdrew from the wedding, the numbers dropping like dominoes. The messages attached to their cancellations were enlightening. Cannot support such entitlement. Disgusted by the treatment of the brother. If this is how they treat family, we want no part of it. My phone rang again, Trevor's father this time. I answered out of professional courtesy. His company was one of Resort Book's biggest clients. Marcus, his voice was measured but cold. I just learned some interesting things about my future daughter-in-law's financial situation. Mr. Reynolds, I replied calmly, I assume you received the booking update. Indeed. Tell me, how long have you been funding my son's fiancé's lifestyle? I could hear the steel in his voice. The Reynolds family had built their empire on hard work and integrity. Finding out their future daughter-in-law was essentially living off her brother's success wouldn't sit well. Since my first software sale, I answered honestly. Every business venture, every luxury purchase, every self-made story, funded by my work. The silence on the other end was deafening. I see, he finally said. Thank you for your honesty. We'll be having some serious discussions with Trevor about his choice of partner. After he hung up, Mom called immediately. She must have been watching the guest list shrink in real time. Marcus, you have to fix this, she pleaded. Trevor's parents are threatening to call off the engagement. Your sister is devastated. Interesting, I replied. You weren't concerned about my devastation when you skipped my awards ceremony. That was different. This is your sister's future. And what about my future, Mom? When was the last time you cared about that? She started to respond, but I cut her off. Did you know Resort Book is now valued at $500 million? That I'm being featured in Tech Monthly next week? That I've been nominated for 3 International Innovation Awards? Silence. No, you didn't, because you've never cared about my success, except as a means to fund Emma's failures. That's not fair, she protested. We've always supported you. I laughed. Supported me? You couldn't even show up to watch me receive the highest honor in my field. You were too busy planning how to spend my money on Emma's wedding. The line went quiet again. Then, in a smaller voice, what do you want? Nothing, I replied. For the first time in my life, I want absolutely nothing from you. I hung up and turned back to my computer. The wedding guest list had dropped from 300 to barely 50. Most of those remaining were Emma's college friends, the ones who had benefited from her borrowed generosity over the years. A new email popped up from Trevor himself. Marcus, I had no idea about any of this. Emma told me she was successful in her own right, that her lifestyle came from her own businesses. Finding out it was all funded by you, I need time to think. Trevor. I didn't reply. He needed to make his own decisions about who he was marrying. My phone buzzed with a text from Dad. You've always been jealous of your sister's happiness. You're pathetic. I screenshotted the message and posted it to my professional Twitter account where I had over 1 million followers. When you win National Tech Innovator of the Year, but your family skips the ceremony and calls you pathetic for not funding their luxury wedding. #ToxicFamily, #success. Within minutes, it went viral. Tech communities, entrepreneurship groups, and family therapy advocates all shared and commented. The story was spreading beyond our immediate circle, becoming a cautionary tale about family entitlement and financial abuse. Emma tried a different approach. She showed up at my office, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up face. Please, she begged my secretary. I need to see my brother. He's destroying my life. I watched through the security feed as she performed the same act that had worked countless times before, extracting money and favors from me year after year. I pressed the intercom, please escort Ms. Wilson out, and call security if she refuses to leave. Marcus, she screamed at the camera. You can't do this to me, I'm your sister. But I could, and I did. That evening, I received an email from the resort's management. Dear Mr. Wilson, in light of recent events and your status as Resort Book's creator, we are officially canceling all remaining bookings associated with the Wilson wedding. We cannot risk our reputation being associated with this situation. Best regards, Maldives Grand Resort Management. I forwarded the email to my family with a single line. Actions have consequences. The responses were immediate. Mom, how will we explain this to everyone? Dad, you've gone too far. Emma, I hate you. But for the first time in my life, their words held no power over me. I had finally broken free from their emotional manipulation and financial exploitation. My award sat on my desk, catching the evening light, a symbol not just of my professional success, but of my personal liberation. Tomorrow would bring more drama, more accusations, more attempts at manipulation. But tonight, I was finally free from being their personal bank. And it felt absolutely wonderful. A week after the cancellation, the story had spread throughout the entire tech industry. My viral tweet had caught the attention of major tech publications, and suddenly, everyone wanted to hear my side of the story. Tech Monthly moved my feature to their cover story. Resort Book creator exposes family financial abuse in tech industry. The article detailed not only my professional success, but also the years of financial exploitation I'd endured from my family. Emma's response was to launch a smear campaign on social media. She posted tearful videos about her abusive brother, who cruelly ruined her dream wedding. But she made one critical mistake. She did it using the luxury iPhone I'd bought her, from the high-rise apartment I was paying for. I simply posted the receipts, every payment, every transfer, every credit card statement showing how I'd funded her lifestyle. The evidence was overwhelming. Trevor finally made his decision. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning. Marcus, the engagement is off. I can't marry someone who built our entire relationship on lies. My family values integrity above all else. Emma clearly doesn't share those values. Thank you for opening my eyes, Trevor. Emma's response was nuclear. She showed up at my office building again, this time with Mom and Dad in tow. You've destroyed everything, she screamed in the lobby. Trevor left me. His family hates me. All my friends know the truth. Security moved to escort them out, but I decided to face them. It was time to end this once and for all. Let them up, I told security. This needs to happen. They followed me to my office, Emma still crying, Mom looking desperate, Dad seething with barely contained rage. Sit down, I said, gesturing to the chairs in front of my desk. My award sat prominently on the shelf behind me. How could you do this to your sister? Mom started, but I held up my hand. No, you don't get to speak first. For once in your lives, you're going to listen. I pulled up my financial records on the large screen behind my desk. In the past 5 years, I've given this family over $2 million. Business ventures for Emma that failed. Luxury vacations. Designer clothes. Rent for apartments none of you could afford. All while you treated my work as a joke, my success as your personal ATM. The numbers scrolled on the screen, a digital testament to their exploitation. Last week, I received the highest honor in my field. The ceremony was 3 hours long. You couldn't spare 3 hours to support me, but you expected me to give $46,000 for a wedding without even being consulted. But we're family, Mom protested. No, I corrected her. You're parasites who happen to share my DNA. Emma lunged forward, trying to grab my award from the shelf. I hate you. You've ruined my life. Security was through the door before she could reach it, restraining her as she thrashed and screamed. Your life? I laughed. You mean the life I paid for? The life you pretended was built on your own success. Dad stood up, his face red. You ungrateful. Ungrateful? I cut him off. For what? For missing every important moment of my career? For dismissing my work? For treating me like a bank account with legs? I turned back to my computer and pulled up one final document. This is a restraining order. It covers all my properties, my office, and any events I attend. Come near me again, and you'll be arrested. You can't do this to us, Mom wailed. I already have. Security will escort you out. Any further attempts to contact me will be handled by my lawyers. As they were led away, Emma turned back one last time. You'll regret this. You'll be alone forever. I smiled. I'd rather be alone than be your ATM. The door closed behind them, and for the first time in years, I felt at peace in my own office. My phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Reynolds, Trevor's father. Marcus, your handling of this situation has impressed our board. We'd like to discuss expanding our partnership with Resort Book. Dinner next week. Regards, James Reynolds. I smiled and sent a quick acceptance. My family's loss was becoming my professional gain. The tech community rallied around me. Messages of support flooded in from other successful developers who'd faced similar family exploitation. Some even shared their own stories, creating a movement within the industry to address financial abuse in successful tech families. That evening, I received one final email from Emma. The subject line read, "I understand now. Marcus, Trevor's family offered to still host a smaller wedding if I signed a prenup and showed proof of my own income. I couldn't do it because there is no proof. Everything was you. My whole life was built on your success. I'm moving out of the apartment, found a real job, my first one in years. It's entry level and the pay is terrible. But it's mine. Don't worry, I won't contact you again. I just wanted you to know, you were right. Goodbye, Emma." I read the email twice, feeling not satisfaction or vindication, but a quiet sense of closure. Maybe losing everything I'd given her would finally teach her the value of earning her own way. I didn't reply, but I did something else. I logged into Reservebook and booked a single economy flight to London in her name. A one-way ticket to a city where she knew no one, where she'd have to build a real life on her own merits. My last gift to my sister, the opportunity to finally grow up. Then I turned back to my work, to the empire I'd built while they weren't watching. The empire that was finally, truly mine alone. 5 years have passed since I canceled Emma's dream wedding. The story of the tech innovator who exposed his family's financial exploitation went viral, becoming a case study in several business ethics courses. I've been asked to speak at conferences about standing up to family financial abuse. Emma did get married to Trevor, but not in the Maldives. It was a small courthouse ceremony, followed by dinner at a local restaurant, the kind of wedding they could actually afford. Trevor's parents had made their expectations clear. No more living off others, no more borrowed luxury. My relationship with my family transformed into something I never expected, blessed silence. No more constant demands, no more guilt trips, no more expectations of funding their lifestyle. They learned the hard way that success doesn't come with an obligation to support those who never supported you. Last month, I received an interesting email from Emma. Her first job, a real one, not another entrepreneurial venture funded by my money, had opened her eyes. "I get it now," she wrote, "working for everything you have, building something from nothing. I never understood what you did until I had to do it myself. I'm sorry, Marcus, I really am." I appreciated her words but didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ashes. Mom and Dad still tell anyone who'll listen that I abandoned the family, that I chose money over blood. They conveniently forget the empty seats at my award ceremony, the years of treating me like their personal ATM, the constant dismissal of my achievements. Reservebook has grown beyond my wildest dreams. We've expanded into luxury property management, and our system is now used by resorts worldwide. The irony isn't lost on me. The computer thing they dismissed funded their lifestyle for years. Today, I'm celebrating another award, Entrepreneur of the Decade. The ceremony is packed, but not with family. Instead, I'm surrounded by people who value me for who I am, not what I can give them. My wife, Sarah, sits in the front row, genuinely proud of my achievements. Our 2-year-old daughter waves from her lap, too young to understand but already showing more support than my family ever did. Sometimes I check my old family's social media. Emma's posts are different now, more authentic, less showy. She works as a junior marketing executive, living within her means for the first time in her life. Trevor's influence, combined with the public exposure of her previous lifestyle, forced her to grow up. Mom still posts about family being everything, about the importance of forgiveness and reconciliation, but her words ring hollow to anyone who knows the truth. Dad hasn't spoken to me since that day, his pride too wounded by the public revelation of their behavior. Last week, I received an invitation to a family reunion. The note attached read, "Time to put the past behind us. Family is family." I took a picture of the invitation next to my collection of awards, the ones they never celebrated, and sent it back with a simple message, "My family is right here." My real family celebrates my victories, supports my dreams, and loves me for who I am, not what I can provide. Sarah understands why I check contracts twice, why I'm teaching our daughter the value of earning her own way, why I believe love should never come with a price tag. The stages are bigger now, the awards more prestigious, but I never forget that empty auditorium 5 years ago. It taught me the most valuable lesson. Sometimes the family you're born into isn't the family you need to keep. My phone buzzes. A message from Emma. Congratulations on the new award. I saw it online. You deserve it. For the first time in 5 years, I reply, thank you, I know. Because that's the real victory, not the awards, not the success. But finally knowing my worth without needing their validation. The empty seats at that first ceremony showed me who they were. The full seats today show me who I've become. And I wouldn't change a thing. My daughter's laughter echoes through our home, a sound sweeter than any family obligation. This is my legacy now, teaching her that love doesn't come with invoices, that success is sweeter when earned, and that sometimes the strongest family ties are the ones you choose to make.